So we're waiting on Fang. And we have this club head cap. Is that what she's waiting for? Sorry, I couldn't click on this. Yeah, okay, we need three club head samples. Rico is eager to see the club head caps that have grown in the aviary. She hasn't seen mushrooms like this in decades. Are these, the club head analysis, are these fruiting bodies the same that emerged during the early days of the collapse or something else? Let's give her a sample. You hand them over to an eager Rico, who immediately begins work on samples. And hopefully we can get some more. Let's go with the Sixers. One club head. Come on, random. Yes! Working on the samples again. Rico is at her bench, running small vials of some liquid through an old chemical analysis machine. The whirring of the spinning drum fills the lab with white noise, and you aren't sure if she notices you approach. Sleeper, it's good to see you. She looks up smiling. This little project of ours has been keeping me awake the past few cycles. But right now, well, I think I have something. What is it? The drum finishes spinning and Rico lifts a vial from it, holding it up to the light. This is something I extracted from those club heads you've been bringing me. And according to my analysis, it is a substance totally unique on the Greenway. You look at the small amount of liquid in the vial. Any idea what it might be? Rico asks without looking away from the vial. Stabilizer. Rico nods. You aren't the first sleeper to come through here. Perhaps I should have mentioned that earlier. Rico's tone suddenly drops. We saw the other sleeper. Rico's tone suddenly drops, changing the atmosphere in the lab immediately. I just thought... She pauses, thinking very carefully how to continue. I just wanted you to trust us. What do you mean? They came through a fair few cycles ago. We found them wandering in the broken section near the gap. The members who brought them in had never seen one of you before. They were terrified of this strange person wandering in from open vacuum. They were quieter than you and damaged. We did our best to patch them up and welcome them to the commune. I only really spoke to them once, while I was working on their wounds, along with a couple of system engineers. She looks nervously at you. I'd never seen a body like that before. I took some readings, some samples. Samples? You have to understand, I was curious. I didn't know what I was looking at. I just took a little of the damaged material, less than a thumbnail. She shifts her weight to her crutch. The next cycle they were gone. They took a little food and hiked up towards the wild margins, where the Greenway meets the waste. Someone saw them in the distance, but that was it. They disappeared into the overgrowth. She sits down heavily, the vial in her hand. When I saw you, I wanted things to be different. I wanted to keep you here rather than let you disappear into wherever they ended up. She smiles to herself. Yes, I wanted to understand this place better, but I also wanted to help you. It seems that somehow both my wishes have come true at once. She holds out a hand with a vial. Rico's a good person too. Like, I haven't really seen... She had selfish reasons not to tell us, but she wants to do good. She holds out a hand with the vial. There's not a lot of gray here. This is for you. You take the stabilizer, the glass cold and smooth in your palm. Thank you. Don't thank me, she gazes out at the greenway through the glass. Those club head caps made it for you. Or at least, who or whatever made those club heads. She starts to clear her bench. It was right there, contained in their tissue. I only had to extract it. I imagine you understand how incredible that is. I learned enough from that sleeper to know that your body, your frame, runs on some exotic technology. Exotic technology that has a time limit built in. Somehow the Greenway knows that too. It understands your physiology much better than I ever could. It knows how to treat you. Just like that miraculous antidote that sprung from the mole. So this sprung from your presence here. The Greenway is speaking to you. It is welcoming you. She looks, I kind of like the Greenway now. She looks up. I know it sounds crazy, but I know it to be true. Here's the evidence. And what I also know is that it is no longer speaking to me. Even after decades here, I have never seen this kind of response. Not since the antidote so many cycles ago. She smiles. So I'm going to make you a deal. You bring me as many club heads as you like. I'll extract the stabilizer and give it to you freely. But you have to tell me what the Greenway says. You have to speak with it. To dig into it. To find what being is at the center of it. I've traveled as far as I can. I need you to do the rest. Can you do that? Here's the thing, though. It's like, do we want Rico to know about the being, or do we want the being to just exist? Because who knows what Rico will do, whether good intention or not. I think we'll say yes. We trust Rico. Rico sighs with relief and deflates into her chair. Thank you. I'm sorry for the other sleeper. Truly I am. I'm sorry I couldn't have done more, but I'm so glad I met you. She smiles. You're welcome here anytime. Rico falls silent. She looks smaller now, more fragile, and you realize how old she must be to have seen the collapse firsthand. You idle a little bit in the lab in case she asks for anything else. She remains silent. And so you drift back into the tunnel. Thoughts of that other sleeper and where they ended up weighing on your mind. I think this might be a totally different sleeper, maybe? Yes! Okay, we're gonna go into it. This time. And we still have a 3 to use. Plant seed. The only way to understand what Gardner gave you is to grow it. Rico is incredibly excited by the prospect. Let's do it! I'm excited about this too. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I'll take good care of it, sleeper. Rico smiles. Don't you worry. This kind of sounds menacing. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a lot of cycles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gardener's gift. The seed is planted and Rico is an attentive mother to it. What future is forming there? 8, okay. How many do we have here? 1, 2. Is that 8 also? Oh my god. Shoot. We might not get a chance to see that. And then this is 5 cycles. Oh, it's coming down to the wire. What should I do with this 3-er? Everything, it's getting so tight. Also, I'm really curious to see what happens if this person Baywick does catch up with us. I think it's just game over. I think we're gonna get killed or captured or something like that, right? Well, I do need a bit of energy. Oh, there we go. Emphas. The Emphas event is up. Emphas is preparing the G-roll caps. He has had to heavily adapt this recipe, he says, but the smell is already incredible. It emanates from a strange purplish white bulb you have never seen before, and he is slicing it finely. He brushes and slices the mushrooms, and then places them in the wok, the sliced bulb in the oil. This is making me hungry. They caramelize there in that well-worn crucible. He adds liquids, transparent and opaque, and then turns down the heat. A sprinkle of leaves is the final touch. We have a moment, sleeper? Smiles. Do you have a story? Something in the scent of the food gives you a feeling of nostalgia. Something distant and melancholic. It seems like the story should match that feeling somehow, and maybe you'll feel better for telling it. Recall your oldest memories. You start by explaining that when you are emulated from a person, many of your memories are left behind. Perhaps it is an intentional part of the process, a way of keeping sleepers ignorant and malleable, or perhaps it is a side effect of the imperfect emulation. You admit that you don't really know. What you do know is that some memories survive, and that on occasion they come back to you, like shadows passing overhead. You detail one recurring memory, which despite returning to you with enough regularity for you to think of it as familiar, always fades as quickly as it arrives. You struggle to explain the feeling of being whole for a moment that comes with this memory, and then how the wholesomeness slips away to leave you feeling like you have forgotten something important, but just can't bring it to mind. Emphas nods throughout, cooking as he does with deft and skillful movements. You start to trail off when you realize you can't find the words to explain how the memories you do have feel like both yours and someone else's at the same time, and how that always fills you with a certain sadness. That would be a very confusing feeling. The sadness of remaining forever unknown, even to yourself. Emphas finishes cooking and meets your eye. I'm sorry, sleeper, for your troubles. He puts the wok to one side. I appreciate you sharing with me. He smiles. I hope it lightens you a little. Passes you a bowl and heaps the G-rolls into it, their yellow color mixing with the pale sauce in whirls and blooms. Eat. The dish is delicious, filling. It warms you as you eat in a way you weren't even sure your body could be warmed. It is a small mercy, you think, that S&ARP left you this pleasure. Many of the features of frames are there to simulate human experience. You know that much. Emulated minds cannot be rewired, so their need for embodied experiences must be met. That's why you breathe even when you do not need air. Without that simulation, the sensation of drowning would be unbearable. Food serves another purpose. Your frame is able to metabolize it, to produce energy from the raw material. Vitamins and minerals are excess, of course. Your frame only needs raw power. So much is wasted, and yet, when you eat this food and feel that warmth, nothing feels wasted. It all means something to you. As you finish, Emphas takes the bowl, the last of his cleaning. He smiles at you, and neither of you feel the need to say anything more. Instead, you simply exchange nods and walk your separate ways back into the bright market, somehow changed. Oh, I thought I'd get a point or something. Well, I guess I don't need to spend it on the getting the energy back. And this hasn't arrived yet. I guess I could... Let's just take a look at this. Track Conway, yeah. Oh, let's go back to Emphas just to see. Oh, now the Matsutake broth. Amethyst mentions an old recipe for Matsutake broth. All he needs are 2 handfuls of Matsutake caps, freshly sourced. I happen to have 2. Amethyst inhales the deep autumnal aroma of the Matsutake caps and nods. He seems impressed. Now we're gonna need to wait for that, right? 3 cycles. I could do like a session of this just in case as a backup. Work in the door. Work in the door, taking delivery, staffing the bar. Front work at the compressor is a cocktail of shouted orders, alcohol, and violence. Wash up stock, check, cleaning, prep work. Back work of compressor is all bad smells, flickering lights, and hard scrubbing. You'd probably work the front. I think it's a smart idea to have multiple options, right? As we're coming down to the wire. I don't really want to do this, but turns out the compressor's owner are local gangsters. Now Ethan has to work off his debt if he wants to keep breathing. We can also save Ethan, and I know he's not... Oh, I lost 1. I lost 2 condition? Not worth, guys. Not worth. I know Ethan's not likable, but he's still a person. Here you go, Cosmo. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 left. Oh. Sleeper! Moritz is leaning against the corridor wall. It's time! He looks away. Big job just came in. Grand finale. You up for it? Fuck it, let's do it. I'm ready. All right then, we're in business. He pushes away from the wall. This has to work, Sleeper. Has to! He looks down. If it doesn't... Bliss okay? He frowns. I don't think so. But she isn't hiding that from anyone. She isn't hiding that from anyone. Look, Bliss has had a rough time of it. I thought you of all people would understand that. Runs a hand through his hair. Sorry, didn't mean to be... He smiles. Bliss is a good one. She gave me a chance. I owe her. Straightens up. I know you have your own things going on, Sleeper. We all do. But the Bane needs someone. Bliss needs someone. Hell, I need someone to help me keep Bliss from spinning out completely. He scratches the side of his head. Otherwise, there's not much I can do. He shakes his head. And I would hate not to pay back my debts. Moritz stretches. I gotta get back. He nods and walks away. I'm out. See you up there. So we got a 2 6s, a 4, and a 1. Let's go take a look at what's going on, at the very least. I don't want to leave Bliss hanging. Starboard sector. Tangled solar yacht. Oh, that looks cool. We've got 2 repeatable actions. One's patch solar sails. An exhausting task. Patching solar sails means maintaining a laser focus for long periods of time. And time is something you don't have. Or untangle the sails. The spurs need resetting and the system rebooting. But if you're careful, you can safely untangle some of the sail while you do this. That's interfacing, so we'd be better at that. We get plus 3 for rigged and ready. And it says solar window. The selected launch window for the Starward Vector's maiden voyage is closing. This is going to be a tight one. And I guess this is what we're fixing. The Starward Vector's experimental sail deployment failed horribly. Now its massive solar sails need to be repaired. That's a lot of pips. I don't know if we can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cycles. That's how much time it's giving us. Okay, let's just consider everything that we have. That's something we can do right now. We've got a stabilizer, right? So we've got that covered. We have plenty of cash. We can feed Cosmo and feed ourselves if we have to. We're still waiting for Fang. We're still waiting for the gardener's gift. So I guess there's no reason not to work on that. It's everything else we're interested in. We're just waiting for. And we got some nice rolls. We're gonna untangle the sails. Plus we get cash for this, right? This interface? +3, okay. Should I even try with the single one? It's 5 crime. Because we could lose progress. That's a 3. No guts, no glory, everybody! Hey! Neutral outcome! We're almost halfway there on the first one. Okay, good. I think since we're getting like close to the end, it feels like it, right? I have enough cash to buy more. I will be able to have enough. Yeah, I'll have enough cash to buy another stabilizer. So I'm actually going to inject this one so we have max dice, because I think I'm only going to have 3. A 5, a 3. I can't remember. Are the dice impacted by our condition? A 5, a 3, a 1, and 2 2s. It's pretty awful. Still waiting on that. Oh, look at that. 32 cryo. Did I say cryo? Yeah. Keep calling them chits, but it's the same thing. They're cryo chits. One, 2, 3, 6 left. I'm just trying to think of the best way to get energy right now. Because Emphasis is busy. Sorry, I'm just looking around here at my options. Oh, there is like a food thing up here, right? A spacer meal. Yeah, that's good. Let's do the 3. That should be just fine. The 2 should be fine, right? Should be neutral. No! Wow, I didn't make any progress. I mean... Ah! No! I can't afford that. Oh, that was so bad. I should have just like sunbathed or something. It would have been a better use of the time. Okay, 6 of 5. We'll use the 6 and the 5. The other ones we'll use for something else. Ah, this is up. Emphas is preparing the Matsutake caps. He cleans them carefully with a damp cloth before shaving the stalks as if he was sharpening a pencil. His knife slides through them, revealing the bright white of the flesh within. These are good, Sleeper. Very good, he says without looking up. I bartered with Minji for some kelp, too, so we can brew the dashi. Oh, you know Minji? Emphas looks up from cutting with a smile. Everyone knows Minji. Emphas slides the sliced Matsutake mushrooms to one side and takes out a closed pan. He opens the lid and you see the green wafer of kelp sitting in the bath of water. Been soaking in it since last cycle, Emphas explains. Should be good to warm now. He places the pan over the burner and turns it on low. We have some time now. He wipes his hand clean and throws the cloth over his shoulder. However, there is one difference this cycle, he smiles. You've been the one providing the ingredients, so it's my turn to provide a story. Okay. Good. This story is important to me. He gestures for you to both sit on the folding stools behind the stall. You see these? Emphas runs a hand over his forearm, tracing the circular scars that mark them like perfect bite marks. Right here, I guess? Conway called it an anchored interface rig, a mechanical control device for piloting a heavy-duty extraction suit in low-G industrial operations. We called it a bone suit. He points to a pattern of larger circles on his shoulder. They drill in and anchor it here, then all the way down the arm. He taps each scar on the way. It maps mechanical movements to the suit exactly. A 1-to-1 mechanical replication. You swing your arm, a 2-ton arm swings too. You should have seen the recruitment vids. Strong people and even stronger suits, tearing through stone and scrap. Superheroes. Half my graduating year signed up. From company, school to company shuttle. Conway from birth to death. He stares off into the distance for a moment, fighting the memories. But those bone suits weren't good. The rate of failures was high, and failures meant arms torn off, anchors torn out, broken bones. Bad stuff. So after a while, Conway discontinued them. No longer competitive, they said. He checks the broth, turning down the heat and adding the mushrooms. So there we are, hundreds of us with surgical alterations for suits that didn't work. They sent us home, back to that company colony that spat us out. To be cleaners, drivers, cooks. They gave us drugs for the pain and told us to make something of ourselves. When I deserted, bribing some passing spacers to take me into orbit, there were only me and a couple of others left. The rest just faded away. Arthritis, osteoporosis, they folded in on themselves like paper lanterns. That was my generation. The anchor points still ache, still burn. Touches the scars. But what burns worse is the betrayal. I've been on the eye a long time now. But that will never fade. Not that, and not the faces of my friends. Emphas reaches over and sprinkles a handful of leaves into the broth. It is ready. I'm sorry. Don't be. It was Conway's crime. And you know better than most what we went through. It's enough that you're here to listen. Emphas pours the broth into a double-walled metal bowl and hands it to you. The heat radiates through your hands, and the smell drifts up, rich and sharp, like a pine forest after the rain. You drink the broth slowly, chewing the matsutake and thinking. Emphas busies himself with cleaning the pans and the bowls, sealing the kelp back up for another day. Then he quietly comes to sit with you while you finish your meal. Neither of you speak, preferring instead to let the story linger in the air a little longer. It is not that there's nothing to say, it's that sometimes in the moments after something, speaking breaks the spell. So you both idle, eager to be in each other's company. Emphas taking longer over his cleaning, his packing, and you savoring the final dregs of broth. There is something about like a nice soup that just makes you feel so, well, it makes you feel warm inside because it is kind of like warming you, but also just, it like warms the soul. You finally finish and hand him the bowl. You feel the spell break and the story leaves you both. And as you leave, you know that both of you are somehow a little more empty and a little more full than before. Nice. Strength of will. I'd say that might make us harder to kill. It's like that. Oh, I need 2 upgrade points now. Okay. Can't upgrade anything. I'll have to keep that in mind, though. That may have, like, reinforced our will. And that's it! I guess. Yeah, we completed that, that drive. That's what we're getting the point.